They say our homeland used to be beautiful, that it was a bastion of peace and goodwill. Once upon a time, Equestria was some sparkly kingdom of friendship and rainbows. Every pony lived happily and in harmony with each other in the world. Princesses Celestia and Luna kept watch over us all in day and night, awake and asleep, to ensure our perfect world stayed that way. But then a foreign force came and ruined everything. Or something like that. The Romans wanted what we had, but wouldn't accept any gifts or trades. They had to take what we had by force. Deadly force. Leading to an arms race that would rattle the foundation of this world we shared. Countless deaths of pony and zebra alike did nothing to quell the conflict. What started as a battle of sword and arcana turned to one of blast and bullet. Only the bullets kept getting faster, and the blasts bigger. That is, up until one last volley heralded the end. The balefire bombs were the most destructive forces ever conceived by any pony. According to the stories, they were concentrated masses of necromantic energies unleashed en masse upon the surrounding landscape. As they rained down upon the world on that fateful day, they scorched the land and poisoned the sea with the very essence of death and disease. Even now, multiple centuries later, it is too dangerous to see the surface, lest you be consumed by these forsaken energies. After all the terrible happenings of wartime, some have asked, who is to blame? Some will point to the zebras, though to me, that feels like a cheap shot. If anything, that's just what the propaganda we still have lying around would have you believe. Others would blame the ponies for squandering their own paradise. But that seems just as implausibly simple. Both sides fought this war, after all. Others point towards the soldiers of both sides. How could one creature be so willing to fight to kill another? But that just raises more questions. Who is fighting just to kill? Who is fighting to protect the ones they love? Who is fighting in the name of their homeland? Then there are those who want to blame the governments. It was they who declared war, and dragged their countries along with them. And for what? Scraps of land? Petty resources? If anything, the war was no one group's fault. Everyone was a contributor in some way, from the princesses to the generals and ministry mayors. Even the common folk of Equestria weren't innocent. The goddesses declared war, the generals and soldiers fought it, and the common folk let it happen. In fact, I think the common folk of the world wanted to watch the chaos and destruction. I bet, on some level, they relished it. Then again, maybe I'm just a cynic. The world I was born into was nothing like the Equestria of old, before all the bloodshed. In place of open skies and grassy fields, we had humming lights and metal corridors. Our home was a steel bunker deep underground, originally built as a bomb shelter for the civilians of the time. Since then, many generations have passed. No pony alive could remember a time before Stable 153, and frankly, not many seem to care. We had plenty of our own problems right there at home. As far back as I can remember, Stable 153 has been governed by a few simple, yet oft unspoken rules. First, the Overmare's will is law. You don't mess with her, you don't challenge her, and you definitely don't talk bad behind her back. She will find out, and she will make you regret your life choices. Assuming she lets you live long enough to feel that regret, of course. Second, the Overmare isn't going to solve your problems, so don't look to her for help. She maintains general order in the stable. She doesn't care about petty squabbles, and is far more likely to tell you to stop disturbing the peace than actually give you any helpful advice or intervention. In other words, every pony needs to be able to take care of themselves and their own problems. Lastly, and perhaps most simply put, you can't get in trouble for something if you don't get caught. The Overmare is a busy pony. She doesn't have time to send security after every loose end or faint trail. So, if you want to get away with something, all it takes is a little effort to cover it up. As you can probably imagine, the system wasn't without its flaws, but for me, it was just the way the world worked. Everyone looked out for themselves and the ones they loved, while merely waiting for the right moment to get back at their enemies. Grudges were commonplace, even spanning across generations. In a way, the system worked as intended. You never wanted to get on any pony's bad side, or else. It probably didn't help me, growing up as the daughter of the Overmare in such a tense society. On one hoof, I was like a princess. No pony wanted to do anything to hurt or wrong me and risk getting on Mom's bad side. But on the other hoof, I was her daughter. I was her heir, next in line to be Overmare should anything ever happen to her. Because of this, she never wanted me at any sort of risk. This meant keeping an eye on me, guiding my life choices. I don't mean to sound ungrateful. Mom raised me as best as she could, and prepared me for my inevitable role as the leader of the stable. She even taught me what to do if I were ever in danger, including some ways to defend myself. But that didn't stop her from being even more controlling of me than the rest of the stable combined. I wish I could have had other opportunities growing up. Maybe I could have learned some sort of trade skills, or made some friends that weren't blood-related. Instead, I ended up learning clerical responsibilities and morally dubious leadership tactics. My name's Red Thread, the Overmare's secretary.